So, hello, our fellow ghost hunters, and welcome to another spine tingling episode of Haunting Travels. I'm Alex, and tonight we're diving deep into the world of paranormal investigations with two extraordinary researchers. They have made it their mission to bridge the gap between history and the supernatural. Nick and Leah, known as the Phantom Pals, don't just search for spirits. They preserve the past through their lens while seeking answers to questions that have lingered for generations. Get ready for some fascinating insights into their ghostly adventures. Welcome, Dead Squirrel in the Woods.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How did you both get started in the paranormal investigating, and what drew you to combine it with photography?
So way back when, many, many moons ago, I had always wanted to look into paranormal investigations and do research. Prior to doing this, I actually was living for about 3 years in North Dakota, and I thought it was a lot of fun to spend my weekends traveling the different ghost towns of North Dakota, because there are a ton of them. Mainly where old railroad tracks used to be prior to some of the main ones that we have now. So there was railroad tracks and steam train locations that when they would stop at a location to get more water, because they'd have to stop every, I believe it was like 5 to 10 miles. And then there'd be like a little town there, and they would fill up and they would stay at a hotel or have a few drinks. And those towns are now, pretty much non-existent, but the foundations are still there. So I would go around to different spots of North Dakota and photograph the locations that are still left. And then I would do like an article about what that location was, when it became incorporated, and when people eventually stopped coming to that location and what made it become a ghost town. And when I came back to Wisconsin, which is my hometown, jumped into paranormal investigation as well. And I still do a lot of the photography, and I still like to talk about what the location was, and not only why do we think it might be haunted, but what kind of life did it have prior to it being abandoned or no longer used for what it was used at one point. So that is my background in history.
And what about you, Nicholas?
Well, about maybe 5 years ago now, with my sister, who is 27 years difference in age. She's no longer into researching or doing this stuff, but we went to a paranormal conference and she said, let's start a podcast. So reluctantly, being a teenager, I'm like, well, all right, I guess I'm going to be doing all the work, but let's go for it. And I got into leading tours at a haunted location and just kind of continued progressing and going to more locations. Had a group before teaming with Leah that I found it easier to work in pairs. The more people you have, the more contamination you have at sites, and it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
And when I did those tours, I started to actually feel when they were around. And when I'm active in doing many investigations, I can feel the energy in the room. So that does help. Just kind of grown. Sorry, and it's just kind of grown from there.
What's your research process before visiting a haunted location?
Mine, I like to go in kind of not knowing, so that way when I watch something later, I know I got actual accurate stuff. Leah kind of likes to know a little bit about what she might run into as well, though.
Yep. I will look into. Yep. I'll look into what it was, when it was built, who was there, who lived there, if it was a hotel, if it was just a home, if it was a factory, whatever it was that whenever it was built, what was the main purpose, and learn a little bit about the individuals that were in there, if it was maybe a residence, and learn were there any deaths in the area, on the land prior to it being built, any traumatic deaths that happened in the home while people lived there, or traumatic deaths while people worked there, if it was a bigger like factory type facility, and just research a little bit about the land itself.
Can you walk us through your typical investigation setup and your equipment?
We have a
Well,
lot of equipment.
We do have a lot of equipment. Our mainstay would be our dead bell. We typically try to set that up somewhere where we can walk away from it, hear it, because that's one that you will hear. And if we do get activity with that, we do set rules on that with them. Like, we will prompt them to ring the bell once for yes, no twice, and then we actually have them do the action, so we know we're getting intelligent conversation. We have some tripwires, ropes. We put out certain areas. Usually I try to put cat balls in doorways, because that's where people, spirits would walk through. What else
I think it would depend on it also depends on the location. If it's a bigger location, like we were just recently at the Berlin Tannery, so bigger location, I right away start thinking about louder items that I can walk away from but still hear, and it may echo. So a REM pod or our dead bell. That's where the infrared, the thermal camera that Nick just bought our team, which was really awesome. It's a big special present for me because I've been wanting one.
Oh.
That's where that comes in really handy as well. Then when you're talking about like homes, something a smaller location, we might bring out again a REM pod, but we'll also bring out like our cat balls, and we'll start looking at our grids, our light tracers, and then we might play with like interactive items, dolls. I bring a doll with me. We might sit and play cards and see if we have any interaction just from playing cards in a location. Like say it was a speakeasy at one point, we'll sit there and start playing blackjack, or we'll talk about having a few drinks, and we'll bring out like a small shooter bottle of alcohol just to see if it prompts any actions. So it really depends on it depends on where we're going.
We actually had shot glasses and poured some and set it on the table and invited them over to have a drink.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. I think the funnest thing that I've done with a spirit was play dice with them.
Okay.
So like we'll do it with like the dowsing rods.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And we'll do like you get one dice and you roll the dice, and if they think it's going to be higher or lower, and however many times that they win, you like set, okay, if you win this amount of times out of this many plays, then you'll get like whatever they're into, like a cigarette or whatever.
Okay. Nice.
Yep. I love
Right.
that.
Trigger. I like using trigger objects. That's where the dead bell comes in. It's a bell that basically looks like a bell from any era, so it's something they can identify.
Like a hotel bell. Ding. Yeah. And it sits on a box, EMF detector box.
Have you ever captured something unexplained in your photography?
In photography, I actually captured what looked like a person standing when I was at Waverly Hills, right outside of a window. And you can, when I blew it up, because I pointed my camera and it was completely black, but for whatever reason, we were standing in a big room, and for whatever reason, I just felt like I needed to take a picture outside of a window. And that window was leading into the hallway of Waverly Hills, and there's no electricity, so it's completely black. So I took a picture, and I'm like, I'm not even sure why I did that. When I was going through it, whatever reason, something was telling me to like lighten it up, edit out some of the darkness and kind of lightened up. And when I did that, I could start making out a figure standing right outside that window. And I can make out a hat and a shoulder down to the partially of the body. And I was like, that was a really cool capture. But from there, my photography has not caught anything too crazy after that, unfortunately. But I still like to take a ton of pictures.
That's great. I personally went to Waverly. Didn't capture anything in photography there, but when I went to Trans Allegheny, have you ever been there?
No, that's on our list.
It's on our list of places to go.
Oh man, I'm telling you, the evidence that I captured there, phenomenal.
Okay.
Okay, I've caught I have probably like 100 EVPs from there.
Wow. Okay.
I've caught multiple figures in pictures. I think I caught the doctor. I'll send it to you after the podcast.
Sure.
Sorry, I got something in my eye.
Okay.
But yeah, I caught this old couple in the hallway. Oh man, like when I saw this picture afterwards, I just wanted to cry. And you could see like clear as day, it's an old lady and the old man behind her, and he has his arms wrapped around her and he's like hugging her. Oh my god, just thinking about it gives me chills. It was so beautiful. Yeah, you guys got to go there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's on our list. We're putting together stuff for next year that we want to do. So,
yep.
What's the most historical significant location you have investigated?
We do Brumder pretty often. Brumder's a mansion here in Milwaukee, and that's where I currently am. I'm in Milwaukee and Nick's in Sheboygan. I love Milwaukee history and have done tours in Milwaukee of Milwaukee history. And the Brumder story and the Pabst story, those two guys like always have captured my attention. But Mr. Brumder and how he built that home and did it for his son. Like, I wish I had parents that would buy or build me a mansion just because. It would be amazing. But he built that mansion for his kid, and just knowing the history of the different outfits of the mob from Chicago into Milwaukee, and knowing some of the significant figures of the mob going back and forth to the two locations, especially up the Milwaukee River, which was very easy to do at that time. It's not surprising to hear that the Picketts and Al Capone may have been in there and used that location as one of their spots for get-togethers during Prohibition. And Milwaukee is pretty filled with the Prohibition stories and the tunnels underneath some of the bars that are around here in Milwaukee. And I think just knowing that history and knowing why that mansion was there and kind of what it turned to, and then gratefully people that have bought it recently, or not even recent, it was the early 2000s, preserved it and kept it as a bed and breakfast. And it was one of the mansions saved and not torn down, which is amazing because they've been tearing them down like crazy lately. So that to me is one of the most historic and valued location I go to haunt or investigate. And maybe that'll just be where I end up when I pass, because I love that house so much.
Is that the same for you?
We've done, what was the YMCA, the furniture store in Illinois? That used to be a YMCA and
Rock Island Roadhouse.
Rock Island Roadhouse. They had to take the YMCA off because, of course, the problem with the name. But the top floor was actually a brothel back in the mobster days, and the one actually that ran the top floor there was a higher up above Al Capone, even, that Al Capone feared, and I can't remember his name now. but we we had equipment set up, and we were just chasing equipment around on the third floor. Like every time we walked away, they would set it off, so we'd go back over there, and then they'd set off where we were before. And with the rich history of that being and this was one of the original YMCA's where when you were down on your luck, you could go stay there, or if you were a soldier in town, you got to stay there for free. So I kind of considered that kind of historical because they kept some of the floors exactly like it was during the YMCA days, but the first floor was turned into a furniture store.
Mm-hmm.
But they had the original wood floor that would have been a basketball area for the YMCA, just all of that. And we got some pretty good stuff there. Not necessarily on the first floor, but in the higher floors where...
Definitely the higher floor. Yeah. And in all my years of investigating, I was always frustrated because the REM pods would never go off. And that was the first place we ever heard a REM pod go off. And my excitement and then his excitement, we went to go check it out. And then down a different hallway, our dead bell would go off. So we'd go check the dead bell, and then the REM pod would go off again. We'd turn around and go back to the REM pod. It seemed like it was having fun with us just chasing it around.
It was toying with you.
Yeah.
How do you balance respecting the history of a place while investigating paranormal activity?
My approach is I go in there as a guest. It's their place. Honestly, do they want the same thing from everybody that goes in there? Like, how was life here? Did you like this? Did you like that? Did you, I just have a conversation with them. I try not to bring up the same stuff they hear from every investigator. You'll dab a few things in there to get some context of who you're talking to, but you have a conversation with them like, hey, Taco Tuesday or pizza, and try to have fun with them. Instead
talk about their work, if you know who might be there. Talk about their work, their life. Talk about the history of the location, what you know of it. Almost act like you're back in that time. Like if they like to sit back and play cards and have a few drinks, we would mimic that and do the exact same thing.
The other thing is if they're not talking and you ask if you should leave the area and go to another area, and they answer, and your equipment says yes, you respect that, you get up.
Mm-hmm.
If you say you're going to do something and they respond, you do what they asked. Treat it like you're a visitor.
What's been your most memorable or chilling experience together?
I still remember mine. Might be different for Nick.
Well, what was ours together, though?
Well, when we were at the Asher Walton House, which is in Indiana, we were closing up at about 2 a.m. and had gone to bed. And
that was yours, yeah.
Yeah, that was my memorable moment. Nick had been incredibly tired that night. I think it was you were working or something during the day, and then we left right from there. So it was a long drive into an investigation that went till 2 a.m. So he was exhausted.
5-hour drive at least?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was pretty exhausted, and we called it done at about 2 o'clock. We're going to bed. He had fallen asleep pretty much as soon as he hit the pillow. He was out. In locations, it takes me a little bit longer. I mean, I'm a woman. Most of the time we can't sleep as it is. So I was still a little awake, kind of starting to doze off, and I heard a huge crash in the hallway, which was like right outside of what then would have been the nursery. So just this huge crash. And I popped up and met him like, did you hear that? And he kind of turns over and goes, did you hear something? And right back out he went.
So,
like, I know I heard that. And the
So
next
for
morning,
context,
huh?
this was turned into a closet now, that entrance.
Yeah.
But it would have been an entrance for the help.
Yeah,
So
right.
the parents didn't have to take care of the children.
Right.
But
So
it
it
was
was like,
now a closet.
right. It was like an adjoining room that was a nursery, and now just like this huge walk-in closet, it was pretty much turned into. When I say huge, I mean, it was a nursery, so there was space in there.
Yeah.
So now it's like a huge walk-in closet type thing. And the door that's used from the hallway is no longer used. And it's all blocked up with a bunch of storage stuff. So when I heard that crash, we got up the next morning, my first thought was all the stuff that they probably had sitting by that door is probably crashed over, and that's what I heard. But I went over there and there was nothing moved. Nothing at all moved. Nothing crashed. So I started thinking, like, I must have heard stuff because it didn't wake him up. And I went back to my recorder, which happened to be in the hallway, and it's heard on my recorder as well, a giant crash of something, but nothing is moved. So that was my most memorable moment.
It's like a phantom sound.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm actually
It was a loud
dealing.
knock.
Yeah, I'm dealing with something like that right now, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
like as we talk, or
Not as we talk, but like right before we got on. This is my new recent doll.
okay.
And she was a witch back in her real life. Or so she called herself that. But mind you, I have no pianos in here. Okay. So I know for sure that there are no pianos around. But every night lately, there has literally been a piano playing in my room.
Oh, wow.
And
Interesting.
I'll hear like different keys like every now and then, especially when I'm trying to go to bed. But yeah, they were doing it right before I got on the podcast with y'all.
Oh, that's
Okay.
awesome.
So I was like, oh, this might be good.
I think the funniest one I had with her though was at the Boyd house. We were in the boys' room. We're in the boys' room, and I had my haunted doll, Abigail, set up, and a cat ball next to her feet. Nothing's happening with her. Where everything else is happening everywhere else and in the room, and she decides to say, "If that cat ball goes off, I'm done." That cat ball went off like a few seconds after she said that. She bolted to the other end of the room.
And we were live at the time, so our audience was cracking up as they watched me get up and run as fast as I could.
And it didn't faze me, but she bolted so fast. Oh gosh, just like the one we just did Friday at the Berlin Tannery. We were warned that there's an air compressor that goes off, and it's dead silent. The air compressor goes off, and she runs and basically just tackles me and just blames me for being in her way.
You're in my way. You're in the path of running. And yes, we were there with one of the guides there, and you guys were just cracking up at me, and he was like, "It's the air compressor. It's okay." But the way it came on, it comes on suddenly and loud, and it was directly behind me, and we were in a quiet moment where we were trying to catch EVP. So it was a very quiet moment, asking a few questions, waiting for responses so we can rewind the tape. And it just went off right then, and it was like directly behind me, and it was incredibly loud, and I sure did bolt up out of my chair and I ran. And apparently that was captured on video and will be on our page.
It'll be on our page eventually once my video editing equipment works properly.
Oh man, I can't wait for that to be posted. So, how has photography enhanced your I have the most tongue twisters. How has photography enhanced your paranormal investigations?
For me, I'm looking at different details. I'm looking at angles and details that aren't typically seen. I'm paying attention to objects that make a really good make a story with just that picture, and focusing on smaller items, smaller details to tell the story of the location.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like it's what a lot of photojournalists do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a picture will tell 1,000 words, but I try very hard to capture the heart and the energy of the location just through photos.
So, what advice would you give to someone wanting to start out in the paranormal, photography, or investigating?
You want to start with the photography, or should I?
The biggest thing with photography when you're starting out is, again, look for what's going to capture the story. Look for what looks very meaningful in that room at that moment, and see if you can capture the heart of the room. See if you can capture the heart of the facility, the building, the home, whatever it is. And then take a lot of still photos. It may look like nothing when you're taking photos, but you never know what you're actually going to catch in the shadows. And then be prepared for moments where it looks like something, but it really wasn't. It was a shadow, an angle that you caught, like we just recently did with Berlin Tannery. I had to debunk that photo, and I really didn't want to debunk it because it was so cool, but I had to be logical about it, and we did end up debunking it. But it looked like a crazy clown face, as if I captured something really creepy walking past. In the end, after lighting up the area and taking out some of the shadows, you can see like tarp is coming down, and at the bottom of that tarp is the angles and shadows of where I caught that possible figure. And when you look more logically at it, you go, no, that was actually part of the tarp, and then that's how the flashlight hit that. So be prepared to have moments like that, but always take photos. The still photos are great and if you think you're seeing nothing, take a photo anyways. You never know what you're catching until you go through it again.
When I started, the biggest thing I was told with photos, if you're going to do photos, do multiple. Do at least 3 to compare. Mm-hmm. So when you do see something, if it's in all 3, you can try to find out what that is. But if it's not in one of them, and it's starting to form in another, and it's fully formed in a third one, you at least have something to show it happening.
Right.
And the thing I was told was keep it simple. I started out with a recorder, cat balls, and a flashlight. Cat balls are the cheapest tool to get started. You put them on the floor where they don't move or roll around, and they go off, and there's no cats around to hit them. Something's setting it off. It's one of the lowest energy forms of equipment you're going to get for them to use. And I was also taught when you go somewhere, don't expect activity. If you get it, great, but don't go in with an expectation that you're going to get all of this stuff and you're going to have all this footage you can put out there. Because in the end, when they passed away, they were a person as well. Just like us. There's people we don't want to talk to sometimes. You see someone, you're like, yeah, no, that's not someone I'm going to be around or talk to. Or you see someone like, that's my kind of person. And they're just the same as us in that sense.
Right.
So if I learned this doing tours, for one, because you could feel the people or the spirits that are normally there, but when you were asking questions with big groups, they're just kind of like, yeah, I'm just going to stand back here and watch these people. I don't know who they are. Mm-hmm. So when, and always have a little bit of skepticism when you get evidence. because it could be simply an air compressor, a the wind hitting the window,
Right.
um, simple things like that. So when you're going through your stuff, think about or a noise like you hear a knock. You're right by a window. Sometimes there's a tree branch hitting that window. You
Yeah.
know,
And get a feel for the location.
yeah.
Spend a few moments just in utter quietness and just learn the typical sounds of that location.
Where was it that we actually sat and we played a game with everybody? We sat in a circle and we played that game.
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. There was a group of us. It was Small Town Paranormal and our friend Darren, who works with them as well. And we
He's
did
with
Edinburgh together.
MGS Paranormal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we sat in the basement, and while we took a break, me and Liam went to the store and we found a game to play just to open up the environment so that they didn't think we were some stiff or something and just kind of watch us the whole time and tried to get them involved.
Yeah.
And it was
We
kind
just
of a
played a
game.
game.
It was actually a fun one too, because it was who out of everybody in the room, who do you think would have done this? And some of the questions were a little adult, little fun, stuff like that too. And we actually had a good time and we got a good feel for the room.
Yep.
We actually meditated to that too, where we just took deep breaths and brought in the energy of the room and kind of centered ourselves and got, calibrated to the room.
Yeah.
What upcoming locations are you most excited to investigate?
Oh, we just had a big reveal for one.
We did. We revealed with our friend from Wolf, or it was an ex-Wolf Pack Paranormal.
Yeah, Wolf Pack Paranormal.
We are going to be heading out for our Halloween weekend at Malvern Manor.
Ooh.
We're going to spend a few nights there.
Yeah,
which is one of my bucket list places.
And then I think the last one we have planned for the year is the Jericho Trinity. It was a church, school, and what else?
Convent.
Convent. Yep, there were 3 buildings.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, if you're ever down to go camping, a good place to go to is here in North Carolina. It's called the Devil's Tramping Ground.
Okay.
Oh.
And I'm telling you, it's crazy there. My cameraman, my husband, he passed out 3 times.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're both very sensitive to the spirit world. So yeah. I've did a collaboration there with a couple of friends. They ended up running. They left.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Wow.
Okay. I wasn't into it at the time, but I was in the Marine Corps and lived in North Carolina for a while, so
yeah.
So I know the areas.
Well, if you're ever down,
yeah,
I'll
sure.
come. I'll come with you. It's so cheap. It's only $15.
Oh.
Okay. And you
That
just
might be
camping?
a good road trip.
Yeah, you just go camp.
Okay.
Well, you'd probably want to clamp, but I mean,
I need a shower, so I have to find a shower location. I must shower on a daily basis. That's like my bougie thing. Is anytime we go on an investigation, I'll go, but I have to find a shower the next day, and I'll come back.
yeah.
My friends that came with me, they got a hotel just so they could use the bathroom.
Fantastic. That's exactly what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah, that ended up being where they left too.
Oh my goodness.
They're like, I'm leaving, I'm ready, I gotta go to the hotel. I was like, okay. I was like, all right, well, I'll see you.
What kind of things happened that scared them so much?
She was being like really physically attacked. we actually caught a picture of the entity like putting their arms on her shoulders at the time.
Oh,
Um, but I don't know exactly what all she was personally going through. But I know the
okay.
first time that I was there, I got really, really sick. I got really lightheaded, dizzy, felt like I was gonna pass out. The energy there is really, really strong. So many EVPs. They were asking me for help, which I could send you a video afterwards too of that.
Okay.
Because I caught that on camera. Uh, there was things conjured there as well.
Okay.
With the spirit board.
Okay.
So the circle, if you don't know the history, the circle is just a circle in the woods that where nothing grows.
Oh,
And it was a native ground. And some folklore is said that the reason why nothing grows is because there might be the chief is buried under there.
Okay.
And then some say that it's because the devil comes and tramps after midnight, plotting
Got
his
it.
evil.
okay.
Scientists have took samples of the soil. They've tried planting things, nothing.
Interesting.
Everything is sorry. I get so shaky.
Understood. Understood.
But yeah, I recommend that place to everybody. It's so great.
Absolutely. That could be a nice little trip for us.
Yeah, we want to try to head down to Pennsylvania eventually, so and over.
Yeah.
So,
And for
that
the
would be a lot to
price,
think.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
That would be yeah, we could make a route with that.
Yep.
and that's only like an hour and a half, maybe not even that away from me.
Okay. Fantastic.
So, sorry. What made you decide to work as a team rather than solo investigations?
Well,
I was solo when I met Nick.
yeah, I was.
I had a team prior to that. And then I went off to do some solo stuff and met Nick when I was doing an investigation. I would jump on investigations with different groups, and I was invited to Ashmore Estates, and that's where I met Nick. And then shortly after that, Nick and I started talking about wanting to travel outside of Wisconsin more. And that was the biggest problem with some of the groups that we were in and the groups that I've encountered was they would just kind of want to stay in Wisconsin, and understandably so. You don't want to spend all of your vacation time when you have jobs to go investigate all the time, which I get. But I wanted to be able to travel outside of Wisconsin and look at some of my bucket list locations. And Nick was somebody who is into wanting to leave Wisconsin as well and open to going different places. And we decided just to form our duo and start actually traveling.
Yeah. My team that I was on, or that I actually started, was kind of wanting to just stay in the state. Didn't have much time. So after talking for a while, our first investigation together was where Ed Gein was taken when he was arrested. And that was our first investigation together. I had been there a few times already and felt Augusta Gein's presence already. She's pretty strong. I'll just put that out there. She makes it tough for you to breathe when she puts her energy on you. But so we started there, and then we have gone to Indiana, Iowa, Illinois. Have we done Ohio? I think we have.
No,
No,
so.
we have some spots in Ohio though that we want to do though, I think.
Yeah.
So we're kind of just getting further out in the Midwest, and next summer sometime, when Leah was over in New Hampshire, or
New
was it
England.
New England, she got an invite for us to, or permission for us to come into a place that is rarely investigated. So we're probably going to be doing a East Coast drive and hitting spots along the way.
Yes.
So we've got to see these places that are like on people's bucket list if you just leave the state and explore.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't really experience anything because there's only so many places in one state.
I mean, Wisconsin
That,
does have a lot of good locations.
yeah,
But once you've been to them so many times, like you want to expand, and there's a lot of other locations and so much history out there that I want to keep hitting more historical locations.
like at one point we were talking about Gettysburg. Like
Sure.
that would be, that's like a hot spot right there.
For sure.
How do you handle skeptics who question your paranormal findings?
We're all
I let them.
skeptics. I think we're all skeptics. We're all healthy skeptics.
Well, I'm a healthy one because I'll listen to the information, and I've seen things where EVPs that you don't hear anything, but someone will go, "I heard him say yes on there," and you're like, okay, but then there's ones that are so clear as day that you can't deny.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to listen, and you have to be skeptical, because how else do you prove it?
Right.
You can't, and let them think that it doesn't exist. They're the ones missing out. They miss out on everything then.
And that's okay if they don't believe, or if their faith doesn't allow them to believe in such things. There are religions and faith out there that, you know, this is not a thing. You can't stay here on Earth. I get that. My mind has opened a lot since I was younger too, so I used to be of that thought process as well. It's all about just what you believe in the moment, and if somebody doesn't believe, or they're a skeptic, like most of my family are, they laugh at me when I say I'm going to another location. Like I'll tell my grandfather that, or my dad, or something like, "Ooh, did you catch a ghost?" You know, they kind of make fun of me for it. It's okay. It's fine.
And a lot of these figures that we do see, or we encounter at places, we do the research on them and get to know who they are and what was in their history, and we find out the information about them. So,
speaking of history, what's the oldest location you've investigated, and did its age affect the activity?
it's the oldest. Ashmore was pretty old.
Ashmore's older. The Roadhouse was older.
But yeah.
Brumder is from the early 1800s, 1810.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are some of our oldest locations that we've been to. I think history and the age of the location would affect what you would get, because it was there longer. So more has happened. More energy has come through. Now, you may not always catch something intelligent that's going to respond. You could be catching residual energy from anything that took place in that home or facility, location. You could be catching people working if you're at a factory, or if you're in a home and it's been there for 200 years. You might catch the energy of somebody just cooking in their kitchen.
Or
there's so much energy that has to go somewhere.
Right. Or doing their routine. Like they used to wake up at 7 a.m, go down the stairs, go sit at the kitchen table and have a cup of coffee. And now you live there, and that spirit is still there. So you're hearing that movement. But they might not be intelligent. They think they're living in the moment still.
You're catching a loop.
They're caught in a loop. Yeah.
Have you ever encountered a spirit that seemed to interact specifically with your camera equipment?
Oh gosh. Was that the Indiana sanitarium where our batteries was getting just completely drained?
I think so. I think that was
Because
one of them.
it actually shut our camera off a few times. We were recording, and I'm like, I am hooked up to an external battery. I have four dots on my battery here, and it just stopped recording. It shut off, and
Mm-hmm.
then it wouldn't let us turn it on. Or was that the No, that was the Mason Lodge, wasn't? Didn't that happen? One of them we just couldn't use our cameras at all. The Asher Martin, Asher
Asher Walton.
Asher Walton. Our batteries completely died at one point,
Yes.
and it wouldn't even let us. It froze our cameras, like
Yeah.
froze the screens, and we couldn't even record anything.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It wouldn't let us like I would flip the side port open, and I would just get the blue screen of death.
Yeah.
And then we tried 3 hours later, and all of a sudden they were working again.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Wow. Well, speaking of camera interaction, have you ever captured a piece of evidence that you could never debunk? Like,
Other than EVPs,
um, that could work. I meant to say the most compelling piece of evidence, but I completely skipped that word.
oh, okay.
Um, I think our one on Friday was quite interesting because we got music box interaction on demand, where we were actually talking to a spirit through the dead bell. He was a worker there. The Berlin Tannery, a little history on it is it used to be a cranberry storage facility before it became a tannery. So in the 1800s, it was when Wisconsin was founded. Originally, it was a cranberry facility, and this guy we were asking him why he's there and everything, and he said he was protecting us from something or this and that. And the guide we had, the one who knows the building and everything, goes, if that music box goes off, I am going to crap my pants.
Or like
Music
drop his jaw or something. Yeah.
or something like that. And the music box just went off. And then we go, did you do that? And we got the intelligent response of one ring on the dead bell right after we said that.
Yep.
And then it was silent for a good 3-4 minutes before we asked anything else again.
And we did a lot to try to debunk that. Like,
We walked
I happened to
past
be
it.
walking at the time that it went off. I walked the same path multiple times. The guys had to show like how close you actually have to get to it for it to go off.
Her chair was closer to
my chair was very close to it, and it didn't go off when I stood up and started walking around.
Yeah.
But it definitely went off right when he said, if that music box goes off, I'm going to drop my jaw. And it went off like right then.
And
that was pretty awesome. And we tried to debunk that.
There's no way.
That was a great evidence.
You got to go on the footage and see if she took the exact same path. But I mean, we were watching, and she was no closer than the chair was. And the chair and her sitting in it wasn't even setting it off. So we were like, all right, this is good.
That was the best.
How do you... Oh, sorry.
I was going to say the dead bell interactions also can be very compelling, especially when you get the intelligent responses and then you try to debunk it by tricking it or trying to have it do something else and it doesn't fall for it. Then it's like, okay, so something's actually paying attention, or else it would have gone off.
Right. How do you prepare mentally and emotionally when you know you're about to go into an intense investigation?
I like to meditate prior to. I think If you go into skeptical, you're not going to believe anything and you keep yourself closed. But if you go into open, you want to believe everything. Every footstep you hear must be paranormal. I go in with an open mind and really try to clear out any other energy, anything else going on in my life at that moment, other worries I have, just things that are going to keep me distracted. I try to clear that out prior to an investigation.
Is there anybody in the room with you right now?
Who?
You.
My dog.
But there's not a person?
No.
Okay. Well, I want the viewers to go back just a little bit and rewind because I'm pretty sure I caught something while you were talking.
Oh, cool.
I just try to be open, but not be in control of what I let in. Because when you say intense location, if I've heard there's negative there, I don't want to take that negative with me. So I'll be open to conversation, but I won't give permission to use my energy. So I'm very selective with that.
So, what role does folklore play in your research approach?
I mean, depending on the folklore, you either are debunking that folklore or you're proving it. Like for the tannery, there's spirits there. Nobody died in the location, for the history, at least documented. But they say there's portals there, and it is a spot where spirits are. There was a folklore tale that I don't know what year, but there's this tale in the town that a human's skin was sent to the tannery to be tanned. But nobody knows who sent it, where the skin is now, or any of that. So it can't be proven.
Wow.
Just random skin just hanging out somewhere in Berlin, Wisconsin.
Yeah. So it's a fun story. It's a nice story for the location when you go in there to talk about it, but you don't treat it with much validity because there's nothing to substantiate it. So it's a nice jumping point, but you don't use it as fact.
And have you ever had to leave a location due to overwhelming paranormal activity?
I had to take a break for a while. When I was in Ed Gein's jail cell and his mom took over answering questions, and my eyes watered, I couldn't breathe. And after about a 30-minute session with Augusta, I finally called my teammates in at the time because women obviously weren't allowed in there for some reason. And then Augusta took over, so I had to be in there by myself. And I told the girls, I said, "You're picking this stuff up. I've got to step outside. I can't be in here right now." Because it totally drained me.
Yeah. I have yet to experience anything to the point where I had to leave.
Good.
But I was able to go back in.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had to leave yet, but I'm hoping next year when I book the Ed and Lorraine Occult Museum that I'm leaving. Well, I hope I don't leave, but I hope I get that experience where I want to leave, but I don't leave.
Gotcha. Yeah.
What's the biggest misconception people have about the paranormal?
Typically, they just don't believe in it.
Or
it's either they do to a point where it's too much. Like everything is paranormal. It's always a ghost, or they have like zero belief in it and almost kind of laughing at you a little bit, which is cool. It's fine.
The phrase I hate is when I say I'm going to do these things, they go, just don't bring anything back with you.
Like, I can't help that.
They're not, you just don't let them attach. You say, don't attach to me.
Right.
It's that,
Sometimes spirits, they're just like us, though they can be hard-headed.
but you have to take control, and not all of them do that.
Right.
So it's like you assume that I'm going to be bringing a spirit back with me because I went to a haunted location. Doesn't always happen.
I mean, and I still think that pretty much any place is haunted.
Yeah.
Who knows what roamed before a building was standing there? What was happening more than 200, 300, 400 years ago on that land that we happen to be living in now. Right. So anything could be haunted.
I think my biggest misconception, which I'm pretty sure y'all would agree to, would be that not everything is a demon.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Not everybody needs an exorcism.
Yeah. Not everything's a demon, and not every angry energy is a demon. There could be a very good reason why something might be angry, or it's giving off anger. I mean, I'll be honest, if I can be an intelligent ghost, you would think I'm always angry because I'm going to say some crazy things. Just to mess with people.
Period. How has social media changed the way you might document and share your investigations?
Well, before you would record on a recorder, and then you would edit it, put it out on a platform. Now you can just go live in the location.
Yeah.
And people can watch as you investigate and get nothing or get a whole slew of stuff.
For sure. And you can see how others are setting things up. You can learn new ideas. I think social media can be very helpful in that. And you can branch out and meet a lot of different teams. Mm-hmm. And if you're choosing to go to a different state, and you can meet people from different teams that way and learn what else to look at that isn't your typical, if you look in this like most haunted place of this state book, you might learn different locations that are not like these famous haunts and get better investigations.
Yeah.
And the last question for tonight, what's one location that's still on your bucket list and why?
Trans-Allegheny. For sure.
I would say Pennhurst.
Pennhurst is on there.
Pennhurst.
And Gettysburg.
In Gettysburg, I want to hit Pennhurst though. I saw a thing on that, and I would just love to get in that building.
Yeah.
Probably a close second would be Eloise in Michigan, where the guy bought it for like hardly anything, and turns it into a haunted house. And now there's this hotbed of just activity because there were spirits there, and when they made it a haunted house, it like spirits got to scare people and do all this other stuff, and like the place is crazy now. And there's even a TV series on it that I would just love to walk those halls.
Mm-hmm. And I think Gettysburg would be a good one with the love of history we both have. Just to feel that energy and what all took place there, and just to stand on the battlefields would be interesting.
I would love to do that too. And if people wanted to follow and see more of you and your content, where could they do that at?
Everything is on our Facebook, which would be Dead Squirrel in the Woods Studio.
Yep. And we have our YouTube channel posted on there, so you can always click on the link and check out some of the videos we have out there. We did a podcast for a while called The Veil, so we have our episodes on there, and Nick is working on some editing, and he's going to be putting up our Berlin Tannery experience, including me running away.
And in a couple of weeks, near the end of October, when we are at the Melbourne Manor, we will be going live there too, as well, on the
Yep.
Facebook page. So you can see the investigation live as it's happening.
Yep.
And I want to thank you. What an incredible journey through the paranormal world with Nick and Leah tonight. Their dedication to preserving history while exploring the unknown is truly inspiring. Be sure to check out Dead Squirrel in the World Studio on Facebook, and I'll check their YouTube in the description and their Facebook below. You guys know what I meant by that. To see their haunting photography and to follow their latest investigations. Remember, the past never truly dies. Sometimes it's just waiting to be discovered. Until our paths cross again in the shadows, this is Alex signing off from Haunting Travels.